Hey everybody, this is Jen Keenan here at the Four Squares Residential Group at Keller Williams Real Estate, coming to you with my Love the Way You Live video series. So as always, this year we're going around the country as folks are changing and thinking about the way they live, whether they're staying in Massachusetts or looking to go elsewhere around the country. My goal is to introduce you to agents around the country that if you're considering a move, you should know. So today I'm so lucky to have James Tiernan with me from Keller Williams Real Estate, North Shore, Chicago suburbs. So today we're going to talk all about Chi-Town. I see your Cubbies banner in the background. I'm a fan too. I know you're a Red Sox fan. So, we're all about Chicago today.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm from Boston originally. I went to Boston Latin School. So my first ball games were Red Sox. And so my Red Sox time goes back to, Carter Yastrzemski, Jim Rice, and Dwight Evans.
Awesome. So I'm going to pull up my map because I like to give folks context of kind of where we're talking about. So let me share my screen and we'll talk through, and then you can tell us a little bit about the market and kind of like what's happening. Did I pull up the map? Here we go.
Yeah. So,
okay.
So if you look at the map and the little town, Libertyville, right by that 45, so
Yep.
That's where my office is, and I live a little further north in a town called Lake Villa.
Okay. Yep. Right here.
And that's about an hour north of the city, depending on how fast you drive and what road you take. And it's the suburbs, right? So I would say it's I growing up in Boston. I was in Boston proper, but I would say this would be equivalent to like Acton, Concord, Lexington, those types of things. Those are all the schools that we played in sports, the Dual County League.
So great. So this is basically, if you're moving to Chicago and you don't want to be downtown and you want to be in the suburbs where there's good schools and families, you're going to be kind of up in this area.
Yeah. And there's a lot of different things for different people. It's called Lake County. And if you look at the map, you zoom in, there's a lot of lakes here. Sometimes when you go through different towns, you'll see, there's Grass Lake Road and Deep Lake Road and all kinds of lakes and lake roads. Some of them are motorized. Some of them are big enough for water skiing. And there's some that are just for, like paddle boats or electric motors for people with pontoons or the folks that like to kayak.
That sounds amazing because you could actually get waterfront property probably, right?
There is a lot of waterfront. It is expensive, of course, but it varies. Originally, Lake County used to be like the resort town for everybody from Chicago. So like in Boston, if you wanted to get away, you go up to New Hampshire, you get on the Cape. Here, you go down, you come up to Lake County, you get away. Now, all those summer homes became, full-term year-round homes as urban sprawl happened. And now if you want to get away, you go up to Wisconsin or further north.
I love it. So let's talk about, the market out in your area in general. I mean, we've had, 5 or 6 of these conversations now with agents around the country and, everyone's saying the same thing, and I'm sure, James, we've had conversations. The market's very brisk, there's less inventory than buyers. But, I'd love to hear about, what's happening there and just about, are you seeing folks coming in from other areas?
So we're not seeing people necessarily come from other areas. What's really happening is there's an exodus, people are leaving Illinois. It's so much so that the governor just announced that we lost another congressional seat. So we're down to, I think, 18 congressional districts, or we will be. And but that really hasn't stopped. That hasn't stopped the buying process because for every seller, there has to be a buyer. So the people that are buying, there are people coming in. There's a big military base here called Great Lakes, Naval Station Great Lakes. So those people are always coming. And there's good industry here. There's a couple of drug pharma companies and as well as Walgreens and other companies that are in and around the area. So there's people coming, and we're also seeing people moving away from the city, coming to the suburbs, as well as people that have been living multi-generationally deciding, okay, we want to keep mom and dad or grandma, grandpa, we want to keep them safe. So they ended up getting their own place during, the pandemic.
Yep. And we're seeing the same thing here where, we've talked about like, people are moving to Cape Cod. If they had a summer home, they don't have to commute now into Boston. They can live there, year round or close to it. And so we kind of saw that same exodus from the city proper and further out into the suburbs. You get more space, you get bigger yards, just obviously with folks schooling from home, working from home. As we've all seen, people are reevaluating the space that they need and where can they go and get more space for more money.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah. So I'm going to stop my screen share, but I don't know if you have a couple of examples to show in terms of like, what can you get for your money in your area in terms of like square footage and price and whatnot.
Yeah. So what I did is I pulled up a few homes. I wanted to get like some water area homes and just to see what's there, because it says your average price point is about 700 in Massachusetts. You can get a lot for 700 in this area. Big
so I
homes.
made you host, so if you want to share anything you can.
Okay.
So yeah, in Middlesex County where I am now, and it's the biggest county here in Massachusetts, my family's home is there too. The average price point is about 700,000 if and that includes some cities closer to Boston and also includes some larger suburbs where the price is not even close to that, but it's the average. So I kind of ask, the folks that I interview, what do you get for 700 in your market? And then, what is more average in your market in terms of a price point? And then what do you get for that?
Yeah. So let me I'll do the share.
Yeah.
And all right. Can you see that all right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll pull up the picture. Now, does that pull up? Does that come in? Does the picture come in?
No, but I can see the thumbnail on the listing.
Okay.
It looks beautiful.
All right. So this is up in Antioch. So it's further north. And this was listed for $799. 737 was the sold price. It was on the market for well over a year.
Wow.
So it's one of those outliers because of the price.
Okay? I gotcha.
But you've got 4,400 square feet that it's sold, like I said, 737. The taxes here are 22,000 on this home.
Wow.
This is one of the things about Lake County, Illinois in general. The taxes are kind of high, probably unreasonably high.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because the taxes, my house is probably worth about that, and my taxes are, I think, between like 6,000 and 7,000 annually. So okay. That's three times what I pay.
Right, and I think this is, let's see, does it say this is waterfront? So it says right here is waterfront.
Okay.
So, and then so this is another one. This one's in Libertyville. This is an area that has more homes in this price range in general. So again, this one's the same square footage, 4,400. Taxes were 2021, and this one sold for $675 after about a year on the market. Actually, it's still on the market. You can buy this today. It's available today. What a bargain!
Well, great. That's right? I mean, that's massive. I mean, we're definitely not seeing that square footage. We're probably maybe half that, 2,000, give or take, depending on the town. My home here is about 1,800 square feet. Certainly if you spent the same amount of money and went further out into the suburbs, you'd be over that 2,000 square foot mark, but nowhere near 4,400.
Right. And this is on 1.6 acres.
Oh, so wow. Okay.
It's kind of big.
Yeah.
Now here's another one that's on the market. 685 on the market 7 days. The taxes are a lot more reasonable, only 16,000 here, but you get 1.25 acres, so not quite as much land. Little less square footage, 3,700, and this is 4 bedrooms with a full basement, 2.5 bath.
Great.
Okay, and so
I love show and tell. So fun.
So here's another one in Libertyville. This one, not quite an acre, 3,600 square feet on the market, just about, a month and a half. Actually, the total market time shows 3 months, which means the agent is trying to trick everybody by taking it off and then bringing it back. I don't know if you guys get to do that.
Yeah, that had no, I mean, there's some agents that do that here, but it's
But
okay.
we're not
Yeah.
talking about agents, so I've
Right.
concealed the name. So we don't know who we're talking bad about. We're just saying, hey, this is what happens in our marketplace. And then here's another one in Libertyville on Hilltop.
Ooh, pretty. This one's pretty.
750 on the market for a month. 4,200 square feet, 1.17 acres. Okay.
Great.
The taxes are 22. So again, it's just one of those things. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'll stop the share and I'm going to just go find some other properties that are more realistic, like a good comparison. Like,
yeah, I'd love to see kind of like what is your bread and butter, right? Like your nice, like, 3-bed, 2-bath kind of,
oh yeah.
average, your average kind of single family home where you
what
are.
I'll do is I'll show you the ones that we have under contract that we put on contract for buyers. We had people today that actually a police officer from the city who moved from the city to another town, and they're buying a house right now as we speak. They're in closing. Since we don't get to go to closings, we get to have fun things like this.
Great.
And they have an awesome house. And the one thing they said is, I get to have a yard.
Yes.
So.
And tell me real quick. So most of your market is single family homes?
Yes. Yeah. We're not in the urban environment where we have a lot of high rises. There are a few, not a lot. But our condos really are townhouses. So sometimes there's a townhouse sort of thing. So, so we've got the share, and so this is the home that I toured this morning. We did the walkthrough. This is a little bit more reasonable, right? We've got 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bath on the market for 40 days. It really was a couple of days. We bought this. We had multiple offers. We beat out other people with multiple offers. 2,500 square feet. The taxes are 8,500. And this is typically what you like to see. This is a pretty big house. It's on Welland Septic because it's in a more rural area.
Mm-hmm.
And can you see the house pictures
yes.
now? Okay,
yes.
Good. So we can flip through the house pictures. Really well done. Had some beautiful hardwood floors, a lot of space and natural light. Ignore the old furniture.
No, this is great. I mean, this is a really lovely home, and it's a wonderful price point. I mean, somebody could sell their home here in the suburbs. Say they're selling their house for, $400,000 or $500,000. Come out here and get this beautiful home, and if they don't pay cash for it outright, their mortgage will be very small because they'll have a really nice down payment.
The kitchen's all updated with granite counters. Again, hardwood floors. One of the nice things about this is behind the kitchen. We'll see if there's a picture here. There's a nice hidden extra bedroom. It could be with a closet. So it could be an extra bedroom. It could be the first floor office, or, they had set up as an extra family room.
We love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. More, the more rooms, the better.
Yeah. This is the massive master suite that they had. I mean, this room is so big. It had 2 ceiling fans.
Oh my goodness. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, you could do a lot with this. But yeah, this room was just massive, and they're super stoked. Now the list price was $285. We're buying it for $292 or $298.
Okay, so that's really interesting because when you say like bidding war here and you had to spend more money, here in our market right now, the going rate is about 10% over. So if you were if the list price was $285, you'd be in like the low to mid 3s.
Sure.
To acquire it. So your competition is a little bit less in that respect.
So we're new to that. We really haven't gotten that far into it. It really just started like in February this year, where we started to have more bidding wars. And what we're seeing is that everything is selling in just a few days for anywhere from 5,000 to 20,000 over asking, not percent, but just thousands.
Okay.
And we've had some appraisal issues. The funny thing is that my appraisals, when I'm working on the sell side, they kind of work out because I show up. And
Right.
when the listing agent doesn't show up, then there can be some challenges. And we've had two of them on the buy side. On the sell side, early on, we had one. Now we listed the house for 250, and we had 7 offers. The sellers ended up choosing the one that was really high at 274 with a $5,000 credit. The home appraised at 260, still 10,000 over asking. So we said, okay, we'll do 260, and we made the buyer drop their $5,000 credit. So they lost 5, the seller lost 9, and they're still at 10,000 over asking price, and the place closed.
We always say if both sides are a little bit unhappy, then it was a good deal.
Everybody's equally unhappy, right?
So I'd love to ask you just a little bit, comparing our market to your market. Obviously you get closer to the city, there's public transportation. Out in the burbs, pretty car dependent, but we're also seeing more because of COVID, Instacart and Uber Eats and like the delivery services. And so would you say you have some of those similar things happening where you are?
Yes. So we definitely have Uber Eats and DoorDash and Instacart. I've known people that doing those things, and my office does DoorDash quite a bit for lunch.
Yeah.
They're kind of lazy. They don't want to walk down the street, doors down. That really helped a lot of our restaurants. Our restaurants adapted really quickly to takeout, something that they really hadn't done. And so many of them adapted, and the ones that adapted survived.
Yeah, exactly.
We do have some buses. We don't have, we have a metro train, which goes right to the city. We have several lines. So that's easy commute for people going to the city. And then we do have busing, which is very minor to main attractions, like the College of Lake County or to the mall, or like a downtown Waukegan area, but I wouldn't depend on it. And yeah, I'm in my car every day. If I leave my house, I'm in my car.
Yeah. Now, one of the things I didn't know, because, we had our little email exchange before, is that you have 3 airports that service you. One of the things I always joke with when people are thinking about moving is, if you like to travel, make sure you move near a major airport, because otherwise, if you're used, like, for example, if you're used to going from Logan, there's lots of places you can fly direct to. But if you're in a smaller area or like a secondary city and you have to go to what I would call a suburban airport, you're just, you're having more connections to fly somewhere for vacation. But obviously, Chicago-O'Hare, major airport. But tell me about the other ones.
So Chicago-O'Hare, that's the international airport. They have 5 terminals. Yeah, they have 5 terminals. I think they just have 1, 2, 3, and 5. I don't think they have a 4th one. That's like a secret. I don't remember a 4th one. Anyway, there's a Midway, which is about, like another 20, 30 minutes south of the city, south of O'Hare. And there I use Midway because that's the Southwest hub. Okay. So if I'm flying somewhere, and I fly predominantly Southwest because, they just treat you better and they don't charge you for bags.
Right.
The price you pay for the ticket is actually the price. They're not trying to upsell you.
Shout out to Southwest.
Yeah, big Southwest fan. And then Mitchell Airport in Milwaukee, also a Southwest hub.
Oh, okay. And so how far is that?
So that's about an hour north from us. That's actually about the same distance, but it's equivalent to a regional airport. Like I would say for you, it's the same as Providence. Okay. Super easy to get in and get out. Not quite a big hassle. The security lines aren't quite as long because you don't have nearly as many people flying through it. The only downside to flying Mitchell sometimes is if you're flying Southwest, the first option is connection through Midway. I'm like, well, that's just
right.
I'll just go to Midway and get a direct flight. I don't need to go to, if I can, I basically, when I'm flying, it's like I look between those Mitchell and Midway to see who has a direct flight to where I'm going on Southwest.
Yes. Yeah. And we're very lucky here too. So it's very similar because we have Boston Logan, we have Providence, We have Manchester and New Hampshire as well. So I typically do the same thing. I kind of look at all three and see where I can go the simplest way
Yep.
without 15 connections, if, depending on where I'm going.
Yep.
So it's nice, again, it's bringing out these similarities between, our market here in Greater Boston, and other parts of the country that I think for people would make kind of a nice transition, and certainly getting more house for your money and a different way of life. I'm sure the way of life in Chicago is a little bit slower pace than here in Greater Boston, just a little bit,
No,
It's Midwest, right? It's the
I
Midwest.
don't think so. I don't think so. And let me just tell you, the first time I came here in 98, and I came here when I was in the military with the Navy. And I came here because it was the middle of the country. It was a place where I was planning on getting out of the Navy. And I came here because I thought it would be similar to Boston, right? Boston has the harbor, and then, Chicago has the lake. So it's similar, right? Well, I mean, I just felt that way. And and I just ended up staying in the Navy and ended up coming back here. So it's just very similar in a lot of ways, not just, the Cubs and the Red Sox. It's just kind of the environment, just everything just seemed very similar.
Great. That's good to know. That's good to know that it could be a very somewhat seamless transition for anybody considering a move. Well, I think on that note, James, we'll kind of end our conversation here. I think we covered a lot, and thank you so much for your insight. And certainly, as always, we'll post all the links so that you can get to James if you're considering a move to the Chicago area. Would definitely want you to connect with him. And yeah, I think we're just about done here.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody that's city or suburbs, wherever you're coming, I can help you. I'll be your tour guide. And if you come in season, we'll go to a Cubs game.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. Thanks, James, so much. Good to talk to you as always. And until next time, everybody, we'll see you then. Thanks.